Your nighttime habits might be slowly dimming your memory and focus, even though you feel fine right now. The changes are so quiet, you won't notice them until they're already here. Most of us think brain health problems come from big events or genetics, but the real story is happening in your bedroom every single night. The good news? You can change this starting tonight. Think about your evening routine. Maybe you scroll on your phone until you're ready to sleep. Maybe you have your coffee a bit later than you used to. Perhaps the bedroom feels too warm, or you've noticed you're waking up more often. These feel like small, normal things. Nothing that would hurt your brain, right? But here's what I've seen with hundreds of patients over the years. The night routines that seem harmless are often the ones that have the biggest quiet impact on how sharp you feel during the day, how well you remember things, and even how clear your thinking becomes as the years go by. Let me bring all of this together now. Your brain's nightly cleaning system depends on several things working in harmony. Quality light exposure in the evening, appropriate temperature, consistency in your sleep schedule, and a sleep environment that supports deep rest. When even one of these is off, it affects the others. But here's what I've seen work over and over again. When someone makes even 2 or 3 of these changes, the results show up quickly. People tell me they feel sharper. They remember things more easily. They have more energy. Their mood improves. All because their brain is finally getting the deep rest it needs. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these nighttime habits resonates most with what you're experiencing? Is it screen time, temperature, consistency? Leave a comment below and let me know which one you're going to focus on first. Your experience might help someone else watching this. I want to gently remind you that this information is educational and meant to help you understand how your body works. Everyone's situation is unique. If you have sleep problems that aren't improving, or if you're taking medications that affect your sleep, definitely talk with your doctor about what's right for you. What works beautifully for one person might need adjustment for another, and your doctor knows your complete health picture. In our next video, we're going to talk about something that happens during the day that has a huge impact on whether you sleep well at night. It's about light exposure, movement, and something called sleep pressure. You won't want to miss it because it's the daytime part of the equation that most people completely overlook. Thank you for taking the time to understand this. Your brain has been with you for every moment of your life, and it deserves this kind of care and attention. The beautiful thing about what we've talked about today is that these aren't complicated medical interventions. They're simple, natural adjustments that honor how your body is actually designed to work. You already have everything you need to make these changes. Start with one tonight. Pay attention to how you feel, and know that you're doing something really important for your future self. I'll see you in the next video. What we're going to explore today is the connection between your nighttime habits and your brain's ability to function at its best. We'll look at what sleep really does for your mind, why certain evening routines either help or hurt that process, and how small changes can add up to big improvements in how you think and feel. I'll use real examples from my patients' lives so you can see yourself in the story. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which night habits are working against your brain and which ones protect it. More importantly, you'll have clear, simple steps you can start tonight that will begin changing how you feel tomorrow. You won't feel confused or overwhelmed, just informed and ready. Let me start with something most people don't realize. Sleep isn't a time when your brain shuts down. It's actually when your brain does its most important cleanup work. Think of it like this. During the day, your brain is busy processing information, solving problems, and making decisions. As it works, it creates what scientists call metabolic waste, essentially the byproducts of all that thinking. Now, here's the crucial part. Your brain has a special cleaning system that only gets activated during sleep. This system works like a nighttime maintenance crew, flowing through your brain and clearing out those waste products. When this cleaning doesn't happen properly, things start to accumulate. And what accumulates? Proteins that can damage brain cells and interfere with memory, focus, and thinking clarity. The reason I'm telling you this isn't to scare you. It's because understanding this process means you now have power. You can directly support this cleaning system by changing what you do at night. Now let's talk about what actually disrupts this cleaning process. One of the biggest culprits is something almost every senior I talk to is doing: being on screens right before bed. I'm talking about phones, tablets, computers, and televisions. When you look at these screens in the evening, especially in the hour or two before sleep, You're exposing your eyes and brain to blue light. This blue light sends a signal to your brain that says, "Hey, it's daytime, stay alert." This interferes with the production of a hormone called melatonin, which is your brain's sleep signal. When melatonin doesn't rise the way it should, your brain doesn't fall into the deep restorative sleep stages where all that cleanup happens. So you might sleep for 7 or 8 hours, but the quality isn't there. You're getting light sleep instead of the deep sleep your brain actually needs. So when you're scrolling your phone before bed, you're not just having trouble falling asleep, you're actively blocking your brain's ability to clean itself. It's like trying to take a shower while still wearing your clothes. You might think you're getting clean, but you're really not. But here's what I want you to understand next. This is completely within your control. Let me give you a picture of what happens when you change this one habit. Imagine someone named Margaret, one of my patients. She was 68 years old and she'd been keeping her iPad next to her at her bed. She'd check emails and read the news for about 30 minutes before turning off the light. She wasn't sleeping badly. She'd get 7 hours, but she felt foggy most mornings. Her memory wasn't what it used to be, and she'd get frustrated trying to remember why she walked into a room. After I explained this screen issue to her, she made a simple change. She put her iPad away an hour before bed. Instead, she'd sit with a cup of herbal tea and read a physical book. Within 2 weeks, she told me something had shifted. She was waking up clearer. Her thinking felt sharper. 2 months later, her family even commented that she seemed more like herself. That's what happens when you support your brain's natural cleaning system instead of fighting against it. Now, I want you to think about your own evening. How much time are you spending on screens in that last hour or two before bed? Is it a few minutes? Or could it be longer than you realize? There's another night routine that quietly affects brain health, and this one surprises people because they think it's completely separate from sleep. I'm talking about caffeine, especially caffeine consumed in the afternoon and evening. Here's the science. Caffeine works by blocking a chemical in your brain called adenosine. Adenosine is like your sleep pressure system. As the day goes on, more and more adenosine builds up in your brain, creating a stronger and stronger signal that says, "You need sleep now." When you drink coffee, tea, or even chocolate in the afternoon, the caffeine blocks that signal. You feel more alert, which is why people like that afternoon coffee. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. Your real sleep pressure isn't actually lower, it's just being masked. So when bedtime comes, your brain doesn't feel quite ready, even though you're tired. You might lie there for a while before falling asleep. Or you might fall asleep but wake up too early. And when sleep is fragmented like that, your brain doesn't get enough of those deep, long sleep cycles, where the real cleaning work happens. The wonderful news here is that this is something you can adjust starting today. It's not about never having coffee again, it's about timing. When you move your last caffeine to before noon, you give your body and brain the time they need to build up that sleep pressure naturally. And that changes everything about the quality of the night you have. Let me walk you through another powerful piece of this puzzle, and it has to do with your sleep environment. Your bedroom temperature is more important than most people think. When you lie down to sleep, your body temperature naturally needs to drop by about 1 to 3 degrees. This temperature drop is one of the signals your brain needs in order to transition into deep sleep. But if your bedroom is too warm, and I mean even just 72 or 73 degrees when you prefer it cooler, your body can't cool down effectively. You might think you're getting comfortable, but you're actually working against your body's own sleep process. This was true for a patient named Robert. He kept his bedroom at 72 degrees because he felt cold easily. He'd spend the whole night too warm, tossing and turning, never really getting into that deep, restful state. His morning brain fog was significant. He'd struggle to find words, and his attention span was much shorter than it used to be. When I suggested bringing the temperature down to 68 degrees and using a lighter blanket, he was skeptical. But after 1 week, the difference was remarkable. He slept more soundly. He woke up feeling refreshed for the first time in years. And that fog he'd lived with? It started lifting. Now, another aspect of your bedroom environment is darkness. Your brain produces melatonin in response to darkness, but it stops producing melatonin when there's light. Even small amounts of light can interfere with this. Light from a clock radio, a phone charging on the nightstand, or street light coming through the window. All of this is registering in your brain and slightly suppressing melatonin production. Some of my patients are when I tell them that having the television on during sleep, even quietly, is disrupting their brain's ability to sleep deeply. The light from the screen and the stimulation from the audio, even at low volume, keeps parts of your brain engaged when they should be resting. It's like trying to have a deep conversation while there's noise happening in the background. Here's something I want you to really understand. These environmental factors, temperature, light, and quiet, aren't luxuries. They're part of the foundation for whether your brain gets the rest it needs to function well. When you optimize these things, you're not being fussy or particular. You're being smart about your health. Let me now talk about something that connects all of this together, and it's something I see affecting a lot of my patients. Irregular sleep schedules. Here's the situation I see often. On weeknights, maybe you go to bed at 10 and wake at 6. That's consistent. But on weekends, you might stay up until midnight and sleep until 8 or 9. This feels harmless, maybe even nice, like you're getting extra sleep. But your brain has something called a circadian rhythm. Think of it as your brain's internal clock. This clock doesn't just control when you feel sleepy. It controls the timing of every biological process in your body, including when the cleanup system in your brain activates. When you keep shifting your sleep schedule, you're constantly throwing this internal clock out of sync. It's like asking someone to go to bed at different times every night in a different time zone. Your brain gets confused, and it never quite settles into a rhythm where that deep cleaning work can happen most effectively. A woman named Susan told me she used to be religious about a consistent bedtime. Then, when she retired, she thought it would be nice to sleep in on weekends. What she noticed was that even on her consistent weeknights, she felt less rested than before. Her brain wasn't adapting well to the schedule changes. When I suggested keeping a consistent bedtime and wake time, even on weekends, just shifting them a little earlier if she wanted to, something changed. Within a few weeks, she told me she felt like herself again. More alert, better memory, easier focus. The consistency itself was healing. Now, I also want to address something very practical that many seniors mention to me, and that's nighttime bathroom trips. If you're waking up to use the bathroom multiple times a night, that's disrupting your sleep architecture. Every time you wake up, you're being pulled out of those deep stages where your brain does its cleaning. Some of this might be related to what you're drinking in the evening. If you're having a large glass of water or a drink with caffeine or alcohol in the hour or two before bed, you're guaranteeing yourself those nighttime interruptions. I'm not saying don't hydrate. Hydration is important, but timing matters. Drinking most of your water earlier in the day and then having just small sips in the evening if you need to means you're less likely to be interrupted. This one change alone has improved sleep quality dramatically for many of my patients. Let me bring all of this together now. Your brain's nightly cleaning system depends on several things working in harmony. Quality light exposure in the evening, appropriate temperature, consistency in your sleep schedule, and a sleep environment that supports deep rest. When even one of these is off, it affects the others. But here's what I've seen work over and over again. When someone makes even 2 or 3 of these changes, the results show up quickly. People tell me they feel sharper. They remember things more easily. They have more energy. Their mood improves. All because their brain is finally getting the deep rest it needs. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these nighttime habits resonates most with what you're experiencing? Is it screen time, temperature, consistency? Leave a comment below and let me know which one you're going to focus on first. Your experience might help someone else watch this. I want to gently remind you that this information is educational and meant to help you understand how your body works. Everyone's situation is unique. If you have sleep problems that aren't improving, or if you're taking medications that affect your sleep, definitely talk with your doctor about what's right for you. What works beautifully for one person might need adjustment for another, and your doctor knows your complete health picture. In our next video, we're going to talk about something that happens during the day that has a huge impact on whether you sleep well at night. It's about light exposure, movement, and something called sleep pressure. You won't want to miss it because it's the daytime part of the equation that most people completely overlook. Thank you for taking the time to understand this. Your brain has been with you for every moment of your life, and it deserves this kind of care and attention. The beautiful thing about what we've talked about today is that these aren't complicated medical interventions. They're simple, natural adjustments that honor how your body is actually designed to work. You already have everything you need to make these changes. Start with one tonight. Pay attention to how you feel. And know that you're doing something really important for your future self. I'll see you in the next video.